Life Audio.
Today on Talk About That, John learns about the Mandela Effect and tells us whether he'd sell the awards he's won for writing. Meanwhile, I open a timeshare for birds and think today's generation is way too hydrated. Plus a conversation about despair and why chasing comfort can be a detriment to authentic faith. Today's episode is not sponsored by trophy shops. If you have $30, we'll make you a winner. But first, a word from our actual sponsor.
Hey, welcome guys. Another episode of Talk About That. I'm John here with my illustrious co-host, Jonnie W.
Illustrious.
Maybe you heard of him.
I wonder what that comes from, illustrious.
No, that's a great question.
Because it sounds like illustrate is the root. Am I illustrious?
Illustrious.
I don't like it.
I'm embedded in a lot of old language right now.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
It kind of is. I was telling you beforehand, like, this is great. And then when you've spent like 5 hours scrolling through Confederate prisoner records, you're like, what have I done? Like, so it's interesting.
But you were doing that anyway. May as well make a career out of it.
Just like you do, hanging out, looking through old archives.
Confederate prison records. Where do you find Confederate prison records?
Now, Johnny, that's a great question.
ConfederatePrisonRecords.com.
You can be a patron of various places, but the National Archives has like all kinds of different collections online, mostly digitized. There's other places too. They have.
Have you been to the place where you do the microfilm and then you're scrolling? Have you ever done that before?
This is what it is. They've scanned the microfilm. Yeah. You're looking at old microfilm.
That's cool.
But I have done that before, but not on this project yet.
Clicking the thing.
I need to go to some of the actual archives and sit, but
film yourself doing it so it makes you look more important.
I would take a film crew because there may be a documentary on this.
Come on.
I've done I've done a couple interviews, but one we took a film crew. Jeffrey came.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we interviewed
our illustrious friend, Jeffrey.
Our illustrious friend. We interviewed the 94-year-old great-great-grandson of the guy I'm writing about. So, in his house. It was great.
We're not going to talk about the guy, though.
We've talked about him before.
Yeah, but it's fine.
You think they listen to every episode and remember everything we say.
It feels like our careers are in interesting paths. Like you're doing this deep dive academic work, and I'm like doing the dumbest stuff. I feel like my career is dumb compared to yours. I feel like you're doing important work. You're doing historical. You're unearthing things.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey,
no.
I wrote a joke about ketchup. What am I?
Yeah, but you're
no.
You just did the Grand Ole Opry, man.
Yeah, but come on.
Mine has no fanfare. Yours is all cool. Like Johnny just spent 10 days performing comedy on an Alaskan cruise. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty cool.
And I'm like,
let me just say, we're out of control. And you were carrying one in today. These Stanleys on this boat, these women, because there were Zach Williams fans, right? So it's a lot of middle-aged women, which that's a lot of my fan base too, honestly.
Yeah.
Middle-aged and older. I have an older female fan base that's like loves me and wants me to be their grandson. Maybe just son. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm pretty old.
You're no spring chicken.
I'm no spring chicken.
Like a fall chicken.
I'm a fall chicken.
Maybe a late fall.
Those Stanleys. This is the most hydrated generation in history. And I don't even, there's no contest. I went a whole school day without drinking water.
Right.
Because sometimes there would be a line at the fountain and you'd be like, I just didn't get a turn. Or they'd be like, hurry up!
Yeah.
And you'd be like, you're trying to suck on the, it's not coming out all the way. You're like,
you're trying to get it. I remember like hydration
your mouth
was
is touching
as a kid. Yeah.
And they'd just be like, sorry. Yeah. Now it's like, my child didn't have, is this abuse? Like, didn't have a 64-ounce Stanley. There is a show that I'm working on with a church, right? And I don't want to name it because I'm not trying to shame them. This is just how churches think now. And they had a meeting yesterday about the upcoming show, and I got the notes from it. And they said, Johnny, do you want to weigh in on any of this? Because it's a big fundraiser for Agape Outreach Homes, which is our my family's ministry. And so I'm really deeply involved in this show coming up. And they sent me the minutes from their meeting, and one of the things was, should we hand out a bottle of water to everyone coming in? And I'm like, no.
You don't want people hydrated.
Well, I don't want them peeing during the show.
One bottle, though?
If they've not had, listen, if they're dying of thirst, as they walk in the door.
I don't know. Maybe it is hot outside.
This is a parent speaking. This is a volleyball parent speaking.
I was going to say, yeah, we were covered in lots of water.
But I mean, these Stanleys are, it's a jug. It's not even. It's out of control.
Mine's great because the straw folds down so it doesn't spill. For a long time, we had the Stanley's, just the straw's wide open. If it turns over in your car because it's too big for your cup holder, it just soaked your floorboard. It's just what it is, but we're still doing it. I do agree it got stupid. And Stanley was not a name brand.
I think people
until it was.
Have a water problem. I think we have a...
there's all this research.
Maybe there's not water in these Stanleys. Maybe this is a...
I can remember when the water research really was beginning to emerge.
Yeah. This is all the root of all our problems is this simple thing you're avoiding. It's like people have with seed oils and all the things they're trying to this is your problem. It's like, well, we're eating too much. We're eating too much sugar. Now we're doing it with water, all we're missing.
No, actually, this was in grad school.
Okay.
And that we were studying educational things, they were talking about how the brain being an actual organ in your body, hydration really matters. And so kids sitting in school who can't be hydrated actually is really affecting their ability to learn, which would explain a lot about you.
I think 52 bathroom breaks is affecting their ability to learn too.
No. I think that you have a smaller bladder than the average person. And so,
how dare you besmirch my bladder?
I think you're you don't know what it's like.
I could drink this whole water.
Thing and sit right here and be just fine.
It's too much, y'all.
Yeah.
Just stop it with the Stanleys.
Although, we would take them as a sponsor.
We would. Or some other,
water.
Like a knockoff Stanley.
Blandly.
So, speaking of the boat, a couple of funny things happened. Well, one non-funny thing happened the last day. We're on the boat the last day, and we're headed to the last port, which was Victoria, British Columbia. Right before Seattle, we returned to Seattle. And we feel this vibration. We're in our cabin. And I've done it when they're turning the ship, or sometimes you'll feel like a vibration in your room. This was not that. I was like, well, there's getting ready to be an announcement about this. And then they come on, the captain comes on. He literally said, fire in the engine room.
Oh, wow.
And I go.
He just said that over the intercom.
Yeah, he goes, such and such code, blah, 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 fire in the engine room.
Wow.
And I go, well, we're getting ready to. I hope they repeat the muster drill. I don't know if you about the muster stations. And nobody, you just ignore it. You watch the video.
That was a week ago, right?
Yeah, and you go, come on, I go, where are we going to? So we're all in our room. And then I'm coming out of the room into the hallway, and everybody's kind of poking their head out in the hall. And then there's a guy, one of the ship workers was right in the room right next to us where they have the towels and stuff. And he comes out and he goes, don't worry. I go, you don't have authority to say don't worry. They just said fire.
Yeah.
I think it's my option if I want to worry. And so sure enough, they come on later and they say there's smoke. If you're down the downstairs levels, blah, 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 there is a fire in the aft engine room. We were in the far forward cabin. We were in the forwardmost cabin of the boat on 5th level. And so this was on the other side, but they go, okay. So then they go, we've contained it, blah, blah, blah. But those engines are disabled. Those 2 engines are disabled. But now they have what's called redundancy engines. So there's 2 in the front, 2 in the back. So you can get by on 2 engines in the front.
And guys, isn't that...
Come on. Some of y'all...
You're blowing 2 engines and you're thinking, oh, I'm dead in the water. But man, someone's given you a contingency engine.
A contingent, if you will. So they said, well, we'll be going slower, obviously, because we don't have the power. But it was like... some of y'all out here.
It keeps getting me.
See, the 4 engines doesn't work, though, because that's not the Trinity. What's the 4th engine?
You needed 1 engine to go out for this whole thing to work. Yeah, it's just 1 engine. But all I needed was... Some of y'all needed to blow your engine so that you could...
Well, no, it could be Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and then the 4th man.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It
was a fire.
The fiery furnace. Yeah, some of y'all have been in a fire.
Y'all on those first floors don't even smell like smoke. All right, sorry.
Yeah, so he comes on later, and we're in the... we went to devotions in the main theater, and we're still waiting to hear because we're just floating along, but we're at half power.
I forget this is a Christian cruise. I'm thinking, you had devotions in the theater?
Yeah. And so this guy's doing devotions, and they keep interrupting because they come on with the captain. He can interrupt everybody, so he interrupts this guy's devotions.
Okay, go ahead.
And he just goes. He just finally just throws up his hands. The captain's kind of nervous. He's just like, this is what happened. And he literally called it. I thought he was going to what we had was a small fire, some smoke. He goes, one of the engines had an explosion.
Wow.
He said the word explosion. And it derailed the other engine too, because I guess they're next to it.
Conflagration.
Yeah, conflagration, a massive casualty. It was a huge thing. So he goes, no one was harmed. Thank goodness no one was harmed. There were no injuries, so everybody's clapping or whatever. And but then we kind of go, well, are we going to get to our next place? And he goes, we probably are going to arrive late because we can't go as fast. Sure enough, we were an hour late, but we got off the boat. And I kept looking like, is this going to be a thing where it's on Twitter and it's already being talked about and people are making angry Yelp reviews? But the crew was so great and it was fine, but it was a moment because we watched that Netflix documentary.
The Poop Cruise.
The Poop Cruise.
Yeah, we did too.
Don't watch it. If you're getting ready to go on a cruise, don't watch it. It's very fascinating, but don't watch it if you're getting ready to go on a cruise.
See, that was a fire in the electrical.
Well, that's what happened. Well, it was an engine fire that spread and it just burned all the wiring. And so, for whatever reason, I think they're probably designing ships differently now based on. But we made it. We floated on and we made it back. I
was worried about you because of the earthquake.
Yeah, the tsunami. That was the other thing that happened. So, yeah. People were texting me on the boat.
Being of course, you're like, 12 hours behind us or whatever? And so I'm like...
Not 12.
How many was?
It's like 3.
3?
Alaska is like 3.
It's two, sure?
It's 2 time zones over. Where do you think we were?
I'm thinking Alaska, isn't it a time zone over from California? That'd be at least
1
4.
Over. No, that's 4 from Eastern, but we're in Central, John.
Okay, so Central,
Mountain, Pacific, Alaska. So that's 4. That's not 4. You're counting 3 over, though. It's 3 hours behind.
Okay. I was worried about
You're counting
I kind of wish now that...
You kind of wish a tsunami had hit me. What's weird is being in a boat during a tsunami probably would be safe-ish. You would just end up in a town somewhere. You would just be like, hey, we're inland.
Hey.
But it didn't. But there were no.
It didn't come your way. Yeah.
Well, it didn't do the damage that they thought. I guess.
Thank God.
Weird. What I mean,
it was like a record earthquake. I was like, oh my gosh, like
8.8 or whatever.
When I read it, there was like, it affects everything basically in the Pacific. And it was like Alaska. I was like, hey, my buddy's on a boat.
We're on a boat
right now in Alaska. So. Yeah.
But thank God we were safe, and it was a good cruise. And thanks to Zach Williams and his team for having me along for the ride, tell my dumb jokes before his concerts. And I did a show that one of the nights on the boat, and that was really fun too. And so I think that's the thing about a trip like that is it can get really weird if the shows don't go well because you're on a boat with these people.
You're at the buffet with them.
Yeah, you're just in line. Hey, I was sorry about that one thing.
You did great.
I guess I shouldn't have picked on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it goes well, you're like, hey, and it's almost like a mission trip where it's like a week at sea with somebody. It's like you feel like you've known them 6 months.
Johnny, I would say the level of privilege that you have to call an Alaskan cruise.
I just mean the level of like time. I'm just saying like the
Guys,
level
what has
of
happened. Like it's changed you.
To me, it feels like
it's just like a missions trip. Where you're helping people in poverty. When I was on that ship and actually,
like, can I get some more Diet Cokes brought to the room?
It was probably my favorite thing. One of my favorite things you ever did was all-inclusive.
Oh,
where you did compare an all-inclusive trip to...
Oh, yeah. I said we were starting a ministry in Cancun called All-Inclusive. We meet every other Tuesday poolside.
Yeah.
He's an all-inclusive God, John.
Come on, isn't he, though? And then you'd say... You had a lot of good one-liners in that one. It was
something like... I would show a picture of this nice hotel, and I'd be like, believe it or not, all of these people are sharing one Wi-Fi signal.
And you'd say there's 1,300 people in this building who are only eating what someone will bring to them.
Yeah, what people will bring to them. Yeah. That's so dumb.
And in the end, you're like, you said you named this other pastor who was in leadership of the denomination we were at, and you were like, hey, we already got his support. And I think I was the other guy.
No, I said, he told me to go get support.
And I was like, he said...
He told you that? He goes, yeah, he said, Johnny, get some help. That's so dumb.
That's great.
All inclusive. It's coming to a resort near you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of coming to someplace near you, John, I think it's time that we hear a few words from our fine sponsors.
And we're back.
The other thing that happened while I was gone, because you're gone all that time, your house is just kind of idle, which is fine. I had somebody house sitting for me, and I say that because I don't want people breaking into my house while I'm gone. Because sometimes I'll be on social media, I'm like, I'm posting that I'm in Alaska.
Yeah,
I want people to know, hey, don't go to my house. Somebody's watching my TV.
I hired a ruffian.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah. Yeah, Taylor will mess you up.
You don't want to mess with this guy.
He knows Krav Maga.
Wow.
And some other people. No, I think Krav Maga's kind of martial arts. Anyway, so I don't know if you ever had this experience. I know we've talked about critters. I don't want this to become the old man critter hour again, like it has been. But John, I have such a love for animals, as you know, but this bird's nest keeps coming to right as you walk up to my door, there's like a little stone eave there, and underneath there is a perfect spot for a bird to put a nest, and they do it every season. And then we just have to wait, because one time we took it down and there was a baby in it.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad because I was like, now what's going to happen to this baby? Have I killed this bird? And so now we're just like, we're leaving it until they move out. And so we waited. And so what you do is you wait until you stop seeing bird dropping, because basically the poor Amazon people are just getting dive bombed.
Okay.
And they get attacked too, because they're coming to my front door to bring a package. And it's like, they're trying to protect the nest. And they're getting pooped on. So it's like, it's a poop cruise, basically. Yeah. So I waited until I saw like, okay, there's no more debris under this nest. I think they've all moved out. Tomorrow I'm knocking this nest down. Well, then I forgot. And then we went to Alaska.
And another one
I come back. It's like the word got out, apartments.com. And it's a whole other family now.
Wow.
There's 3 other babies. It's like an Airbnb. Literally Airbnb. It's in the air.
Yeah. Air, bird,
and breakfast. So I don't know what to do. Is there a service where people will come like protect the younglings?
No, there's not.
Because like if you could just relocate it.
Yeah, you could.
Without hurting them.
I've relocated birds nests, and they survived.
I just feel like
you just need to relocate them.
I just feel like it's not going to go. Well,
and
I'm going to get my eyes pecked out.
I mean, you have to be this way. What's the lifespan of a bird anyway?
Come on, John.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, we don't know the lifespan. I don't know, and you don't know.
There's no way to know. No, I think you may have to just. By the way, someone sent me something.
Yeah.
They said that I actually broke the law
what
I did.
When you trapped the...
Yeah, I was supposed... Like, they sent me the law.
What was it, a hedgehog? What'd you trap?
It was a groundhog.
Groundhog.
And you're not supposed to release wild animals. You're supposed to basically...
Euthanize them?
Yeah. Like, you're supposed to
So by being the humane person...
Right, I broke a law.
Because now he's reintegrated into that other... whatever you call it. Not biosphere. He's in that other environment.
There's groundhogs all around. I didn't take him. Like, I think that the idea is like, don't go get a... what's the snake in Florida? Don't go get a... This overtaking the Everglades. Yeah. Sorry. Just for the moment. Guys, I know you think we don't know things.
Python?
But sometimes...
What is the snake that's overtaking the Everglades?
Sometimes,
Anaconda?
Sometimes when you're trying, like, on the recording to just grab everything...
I don't know about a snake that's overtaking the Everglades.
The Burmese python. That's what it is. You don't know that?
It's overtaking because people brought it in from...
Correct. It's not its natural habitat. You have not heard of it?
It's probably like drug runners and stuff brought it accidentally or whatever.
No, it's people buying it, exotic animals, and then they didn't want it anymore, and they just released Burmese pythons, and now they've completely taken over the entire Florida Everglades. Like, it's a major issue to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But me releasing a groundhog is not that, because groundhogs are native here. But here's funny.
But it was being invasive to you, and you didn't want to be like, hey, maybe this neighborhood over here.
It was a person on staff, by the way, and so it was time for my... background check to be renewed.
Oh boy!
And they sent me like, "Hey, your background check came back clean. I guess they haven't found out about your crime." You know? I was like, "Well, listen, as long as I don't work with any groundhogs, I think it should be fine." You know, but
there's a guy on the other side of the desk, groundhog wearing glasses. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You killed my uncle.
I've seen it just the once.
You released him into the...
Yeah.
It is interesting because you kind of chose where that groundhog was going to live.
I did.
You were like, I've decided you're here now.
Yeah. And isn't that just
that's like... That's a weird...
Some of us...
It's a little manifest destiny on your part.
Yeah. Like...
You just decided, hey...
Listen, I know what's around here because I've seen so much wildlife.
Was it a good neighborhood?
Yeah, I think it was fun. I think he'll do all right.
Yeah.
Something tried to dig back under.
He misses his family, John.
Something tried to dig back under again. But it was not able to get into the house now.
Because
it went under my lattice, but it couldn't get in. Because, guys, sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say one last thing before we finish the critter hour?
Yeah.
This is my confusion about people who love like animals but don't love other animals that are equally harmless to me.
Right.
Okay, so people get bird feeders.
This is about my bird comment.
They want to get the bird feeders. And they want to watch their birds.
Yeah.
Hummingbirds come feed from the birds or like whatever. I built a house for these purple martins. And then if a squirrel gets into the bird feed, they go, and they buy these huge elaborate things to keep the squirrels out. You're like, squirrels are also cute to watch.
Yeah.
Let the squirrels eat the food if they have it. Like, what is the squirrel hurting exactly? You go, oh, these squirrels are getting on. I had to grease the pole so it'll slide down. There's all these YouTube videos of squirrels like being spun around on the thing because it's on funny. And you go, and then they fly out of the frame of the. And you go, all right, but dude, squirrels deserve sustenance too. It's also fun to watch a squirrel
Maybe
eat.
you should set up a squirrel feeder and let us know how it goes.
Well, you put squirrel corn in certain feeders, I guess. Maybe that's the thing is they go, it's not your time yet. The squirrel corn's coming, but for now, this is...
squirrels will eat anything, right?
Will they eat the birds as they try to?
No.
It scares the birds away, I guess. But I just think it's interesting that people go, I love nature, but I don't want to watch this fuzzy-tailed, cute being. I'm waiting on the flying
But yeah, but you wouldn't do that to an armadillo.
If an armadillo got into my bird feeder, first of all, I would be amazed.
I don't mean bird feeder. I mean, like, if an armadillo comes around, you'd be like, get it, kick it in the head, get it out of here.
I don't think so. I think I would be, first of all, I would be amazed. First of all, armadillos are...
They're here.
They're here now.
Yeah.
From Texas or whatever. They've made their way.
Or a skunk. How about a skunk? A skunk comes up.
Yeah, but skunks can spray you. A squirrel can't spray you. Squirrels have rabies.
You don't know what they...
What if birds have bird flu?
Well, you're not touching the bird.
Well...
Are you?
I don't know.
I don't think you know how bird feeders work.
You're like, here you go. Here's your...
By the way,
you hold out your hand.
When I was a little kid, if my mom listens, she'll love this. Mm-hmm. I wanted to catch a bird worse than anything in the world.
Really?
And catch a rabbit. Like, I wanted to catch things so bad.
Just to have them?
Yeah, just to, like, play with it or whatever. Like, I was a little kid, like 4, probably. And so, like, one of the things that... I think that a picture might be gone now. Mm-hmm. But what I would take some seed or something. Yeah. And literally, I did this. I stood in the yard, held my hand out, and turned my head the other way and closed my eyes.
Like to the bird?
Like they wouldn't know that I was a human. It's like when you're a kid.
That's great.
When Sadie and I play hide and seek, they're real little. Yeah. She go lay under these pillows, but her legs are just hanging right out. It was that kind of thing. So
yeah, nobody can see me.
Yeah.
It's like the boogeyman can't get you if your feet are under the covers. The boogeyman can't.
Right.
He's like, the force field's up.
There's nothing I can do. I wonder, is there anyone under those covers? Probably not.
Yeah, there's a big lump there, but come on. Yeah. That's funny, though. Yeah, it's like you probably saw something on TV where there's like a falconer and the bird landed on his hand or something, and you...
I don't know, I just thought, I'll outsmart this bird. Turns out I did not.
If something had ever... You would have been terrified. It would have been the most startling moment.
Well, birds also attacked me.
Oh.
So when I was... God, I have a real history of birds.
This is your origin story.
Yeah.
This is why you told me to tear down the nest. You're like, listen.
Yeah, those birds can't
You got to show a zero tolerance policy.
You let them start. You give a bird a
bird killed my father.
We had a barn in my old house way out in the country, and I was really, really little. Like, I moved to where we grew up in second grade. So this is pre-second grade. Okay? Yeah. And
first grade, some would call it.
I could have been 4 or 5, who knows?
Yeah.
One of my chores, we had rabbits up, like cages, rabbits up in cages up in the barn. And I had to feed the rabbits. Mm-hmm. And so, for whatever reason, the birds wouldn't bother anybody else. But between the house and the barn, going up that hill, they would dive bomb me. Wow. Like, come swooping at my head.
Yeah.
And so, like, the family would sit there and watch it and laugh. Like, they thought it was so funny to watch me do this.
Well, they knew you weren't in real trouble. Were these big birds?
No, I don't think so.
Not like Sesame
Street,
big birds.
They were all big to me at the time. Was this a big bird?
Was there a snuffleupagus?
I think one time I got an umbrella and took it with me. They got a real kick out of that. But it worked,
Yeah.
So, guys, listen, the moral of the story.
Always have an umbrella. Just in case.
It's not always about rain. Hey, John, I think that's enough of Critter Hour.
Let's
move into the next segment. Yeah. It's my segment. It's the quote of the week. It's a little segment we call They Talked About That. Thomas Merton. Love Thomas Merton.
Of course. He's made the show before.
He has. Trappist monk.
Yes.
Which you want to know
means you trap monks and release them into other areas. You go, hey, this is where you live now. Hey, you can't tell. You can't talk about it because you're taking a vow of silence.
That's right.
It's the best thing to trap.
Their monastic tradition has an emphasis on prayer, contemplation, silence, and manual labor.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do any of that. I don't think I could do any of those things. What is it again? What are the 4 things?
Prayer, contemplation, silence, and manual labor.
I can do prayer, but man, Contemplation? Ugh.
They dedicate themselves to spiritual reflection and physical work.
We need more. We need some more of these people.
In their monasteries, yeah. His monastery was up in Kentucky, the main one. But anyway, he said. So I'm writing on hope right now on the side, by the way, because there's another book that Reggie and I are working on that's not really in motion yet. I'm just on proposal stuff. But yeah. I've been studying it for, that's a strong way to say it. I've been living this thing. I think I faced hopelessness sometime in the last 5 years. I think there was a time I felt hopelessness in a way I hadn't felt. Not about life necessarily, about things. And I made a decision that I've now seen sort of the bottom of that. And I've seen other people who've been in really dark places. So I have evidence in my own life as a pastor. And I've decided I'm not going to be hopeless. Like when that feeling comes, that's a non-starter for me. Like, yeah. And then you go into like well, that's stupid. Like my brain goes, you're just being Pollyanna. You're just being,
you're pretending it's not happening.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. So it's like, it's been really good to study what does Scripture say about hope. So I'm working on actually like a 365-day devotional on hope. That's really going deep, not just into here's to make you feel better today, but like why we struggle with hopelessness, what it means in relation to having a grasp on reality. And so it's been very good for me because I still struggle, but I mean, there's some truth that
you're kind of coming out the other side of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Thomas Merton said, despair is the illusion that God is absent when in truth he is always near. Despair is the illusion that God is absent when in truth he is always near. Like that, I don't know why that speaks to me so much, because I think most of what I struggle with is not about truth. It's about awareness.
Yeah.
In whatever moment I'm in. Because I know truth, at least part of the truth, right? And I know in whom I trust, I know those things. It's grasping that as something that I actively believe is for me in the moment when I most don't want to believe that or can't see it. It really is. It's like the cloud. It's like you're in this cloud or you're in this fog, and when you can't see, can you remember, right, what it is that you could see before, as if it's still true or still real? And I'm really studying too, like the differences between faith and hope, because they're listed as two different things. And I don't want to give the whole book away, Johnny. I mean, but I will give the book away.
Yeah.
If somebody wants one later. But that, like, there's a reason hope is different. It's not just believing what you can't see. Like there's more to it. And I think I've said this before, like my functional definition of hope has been always looking for the good that is to come. Like faith is believing there is good to come. Hope is like actively waiting. That's one of the like Hebrew words for hope is it has to do with waiting. But waiting in anticipation or looking for the good that is to come. And I think when you're in despair, right, which would be the opposite of hope, then you have this illusion that no good is coming.
Yeah.
And it's not just good things coming. I think the true, obviously, grounding of it would be that God is the ultimate good, right? That you are going to be safe in, that you're safe in now, despite your circumstances being unsafe. And so, like that idea, when you begin to believe he's absent, and that's been a big thing. Like in fact, I thought this week or last week, I was really praying and I felt very, I don't want to use the word convicted. I just felt very like, almost like a shift. Like, because I'm noticing myself outside myself. I mean, I've been watching myself in despair or in worry for my whole life. Like I have this science experiment, if I stop and pay attention to it, of who I am and how it works for me. And I realized that when something goes wrong, your first, maybe this is yours too, your first inclination is to go, what am I going to do now? Mm-hmm. And I had this thought, I think, from the Lord, like, why do I never ask, what is God about to do next? Mm-hmm. Instead of like, just what am I going to do now? What is God going to do next?
You're putting all the emphasis on like, how will you fix it? What is the next problem-solving measure that you'll take versus like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
What's happening outside of me?
Yeah.
But giving up that's part of like being out of control feels like falling. It just feels like, well, if I can't fix this, what do we do? Especially as men, I think that's a big thing in the way men are raised is like, we're supposed to be fixers. We're supposed to go fix everything. So if you get to a point where, everybody reaches the end of themselves where they go, I have officially reached something I can't fix. And it feels very helpless and hopeless.
It does.
When you get to that point.
And when you get there and it works out, it's funny how it doesn't mean that now automatically applies to the next thing that you can't fix.
You can still panic about it. Right. Yeah.
Or can you have something that's not to the end of I think that's the harder part for me. When I'm at the end of myself, I know there's nothing else I can do. Mm-hmm. But as long as I have something else I can do, that's where I really fall into despair. Is not just, it's like God must be waiting on me to do something. And sometimes I think he is. And where's the line between my stewardship of this situation and my trust in God's sovereignty or God's, intervention in the situation? Is he waiting for me or am I waiting for him? I don't know. That's where I get. And so I think, but when it feels like God's absent, I just found a lot of comfort in the last week of just going, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know God's going to do something next. Like I've lived enough life now. I can see in God's word with other people's lives. I can see in my life with people ahead of me, like things can be bad and there can be death and despair and all kinds of things. God always is present to do something next. Even if I'm the one who dies, there's a next for me. And so there's like just that moment of going, hey, God's not absent. I think that's really the whole point, right? If I begin to feel or believe in this situation, not from a theological standpoint or from an overall standpoint, but like in this moment, I am acting as if God doesn't exist or acting as if God is absent.
Yeah, there was a guy that wrote a book called Practical Atheism. Yeah. It was kind of like that about like, you're already living.
The Christian atheist, isn't that what it's called? I think?
There was one called Practical Atheism too. And it was basically, the concept of it was, everyone is already living by what they feel about God.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not. So you can say what you say, but you're living your life by a set of beliefs about God.
Yeah.
If you're not praying, then you either believe it's not worth it or you don't believe that God hears your, you know what I'm saying? So like every move you make, or the self-dependence, like self-reliance you talk about, when a problem happens, you immediately go to self-reliance.
Yeah.
Like those are actions that speak to your beliefs about God, whether you know it or not. So there's a way to be like a Christian and also be a practical atheist by the way that you live.
Living
so it's
as
a scary
God,
place
yeah.
to,
That's what my friend Jeff and Beth McCord, he will say that, like, we were writing a book on parenting, and I think he wanted to call it, well, he don't want to call it this, but this is one of the titles was, or the subtitles was, Parenting as If God Exists.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a, like, poignant, because we're writing to Christian parents already, and it sounds insulting, but I speak as if God exists, but then often I worry or live or make decisions in the moment as if he doesn't. And I think that the real life in Christ is walking deeper into the moment where there's fewer places that's the case. I think it happens for everybody, right? But that when you begin to go, okay, I've been in enough of these. I'm not asking for more despair so that can be proven.
Right.
I just think we
want that on the record.
Yeah,
John is not asking.
I actually was telling that sometimes, like, I really want to grow. Also, I'm not asking for more trouble, like maybe we split the difference here. I'm submitting to you, and I know that a more spiritual person would say, like, I'll hear these songs written. There's always a song in a Christian artist, if he's around a long, long time, it's like a
growth through suffering kind of song.
Like Bring On the Suffering.
Yeah,
like Now I Know, Bring On the Suffering. Stephen Curtis had a song called Bring It On. That's what it was about. Let the lightning flash, let the thunders roar, and it's like, and it was one of his earlier, not earlier for him, but I mean, probably he was 10 years in or whatever.
Yeah.
And those kind of things scare me now. Like, I don't want to, I get what he's saying.
And honestly, I think that's missing from a lot of modern evangelicalism, where it was more present. I know you said you read the book about misinterpreting the Bible through Western eyes or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's like, you see it in Eastern traditions where like they lean into suffering because God's there.
Yeah.
And so, whereas we've become way more attuned to like cultural Christianity, which if you live in the richest country in the world means that you try to insulate yourself from suffering the most you can.
Yeah.
And so there's a time and a place. Obviously, we're trying to protect our families and protect our whatever. We don't want to just like jump off cliffs and be like, God's here. Because he'll be, when I break my legs at the bottom of this cliff, God will be there with me. It's like, that's not what we mean. But this idea of like trying to run headlong from every uncomfortable moment.
Yeah.
You're avoiding a lot of even with, this is a really weird analogy, but there's a guy who is a kind of a road dog comic, and he's a legend for doing like the smallest D-market towns, nowhere towns. And he's like, so many people live their career until they get famous, and then they fly. They call it flyover country. And he goes, you're flying over all the funny.
Yeah, that's good.
You're missing the diner. You would have met this waitress, and she had one tooth in her head, and she would have told you the funniest story you've ever heard. And you missed it because you flew from New York to LA and back. Yeah. And now you have an agent, and you're missing it, and your career is going nowhere because you're flying over all the funny. And I think there's something to that with God where we're missing the forest for the trees, not to throw ourselves into suffering, but to insulate yourself completely from it. You're missing something, the mystic nature of it.
Yeah, I think I think not to ask for it, but to think it odd, or to think it, to Merton's point, that God must be sleeping on this one. Like, I don't want to ask God why anymore. Like, sometimes as a parent, there will be a conversation about something happening behavior-wise.
Yeah.
And I've just stopped saying, like, why did you do that? Like, and that's actually in a lot of the parenting stuff. Like, why did you do that? Probably doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes it does. But if we've been down this road and this is a repeated thing, we may or may not know why. The real question is what are you going to do next? Or like, let's focus on the what. Yeah. I'm just not going to do that. I can sit here and try to figure out the why. And I think that asking God, why is this happening, is such, it just takes us into places that he's probably not going to tell us, right? There's a mystery to things, and we're not the first ones to suffer. And I think the more I study history, the more that always brings me comfort. Like, my gosh, these guys went through this whole thing, you know. I mean, we're going to go through trouble, but I think you're right. As Americans, we think of that as like an injustice.
Yeah. How do I build as many layers between me and discomfort? And then we wonder why God feels far away. And you're like, well, it's like I don't know. It's almost like the whole thing of like when you have a wound and you cover it, you're supposed to cover it to protect it, but you cover it too much, it can't heal. Like we're taking something's missing.
Yeah.
When you take it all away, it's like a synthetic life almost.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real. You're like, well, yeah, it's great. I get up, and it's like there's an old movie called The Descendants, and I always think about this one scene. I've not even seen the whole movie, but I watched part of it on a plane. And George Clooney is going to settle the affairs of his father who passed. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where he said, my father, and he's got to go and deal with all the siblings and tell them what they've got in the will. And he said, my father worked hard enough. He wanted us to have enough money that we could do something, but not so much money that we could do nothing. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a balance to be struck in that, where you go, God, I mean, it's a proverb.
Yeah.
God, don't make me so rich that I'll forget you, but don't make me so poor that I'll steal and dishonor your name.
Yeah.
And so we're all living in that balance, but I think some of us go so far to the other side, like, how do I get enough money where I don't ever have to worry again? It's like, maybe God wants you to depend on him.
Yeah.
Maybe that mortgage is keeping you dependent on him a little bit. And if you paid it off, you'd be like, I'm good now.
Yeah.
What do I need God for? It's like, I don't know. I think there's something that's missing.
Well, that's one of the parables is the man built his, he had all this wealth. And so he had so much one harvest that he, said, I'm going to tear down my old barns, build new barns.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit back and tell my soul. It's interesting, the phrasing. I'll say to myself, basically, self or soul, you've really done well. Now just, it's going to be easy coasting from here. And I think I've always heard this, like, God says, you're a fool, like your soul's going to be required of you tonight. And I think it's not just about like, now you're going to die because I think it's about like, you lost your soul in that because you're not connected to the need for dependence and those things. So anyway, interesting. Thank you, Thomas Merton.
Yeah.
Are
we Trappist monks now? Did we?
I think
we got really deep there.
I think that felt like physical work.
Is this the first step? Yeah, just talking to you, honestly, feels
Stanley.
like physical labor.
Yeah,
I know. You need to rehydrate after all that.
Ooh,
that was a big one. John, let's do my segments. Let's start with Johnny's old jokes. We call it Joke About That. John, I wanted to focus on the comedy of one of the pioneers of comedy. One of the first comedians I think I ever saw would have been watching Scooby-Doo. Every now and again, they would have special guests on Scooby-Doo. They had the Harlem Globetrotters one time when I was a kid. That was fun. Really voiced by the actual Harlem Globetrotters. They would have Don Knotts on there. And they had this comedian named Phyllis Diller. Phyllis Diller is such a fascinating character study. She really leaned into what made her different. She was... it's still a totally male-dominated industry, stand-up comedy, and she just threw herself into this thing, and she played on her strengths, which was self-deprecation. She would talk about how funny-looking she was. She's not this typical leading lady, good looks, and so she would just talk about it. She had this wild hair, looked like she stuck her finger in an electric socket, and she was so funny and could write so many jokes. She was so prolific. And so I wanted to focus on the comedy of Phyllis Diller, a few of her one-liners today on Joke About That, and we honor her life. I spent 7 hours in a beauty shop, and that was just for the estimate. The doctor looked my body over. I said, "Is there any hope?" He said, "Yes, reincarnation." My body is in such bad shape, I wear prescription underwear. This woman goes into a gun shop and says, "I want to buy a gun for my husband." The clerk says, "Did he tell you what kind of gun?" "No," she says. "He doesn't even know I'm going to shoot him." Isn't that great? This one's good. This one will resonate with the parents out there. Most children threaten at times to run away from home. This is the only thing that keeps some parents going. Phyllis Diller.
That's great.
A legend of comedy. A true pioneer. And so let's do This Week in History, John. We call it Talk About Then. John, this week, 1992, Harold Russell became the first person to ever sell his Oscar.
What?
He got an Oscar award, 1946 Best Support. So he had had it a while, so he must have just fallen on hard times maybe. He sold his 1946 Best Supporting Actor award for $65,000. That's 1992 money.
Wow, yeah.
He was the first visibly handicapped person to appear in a major motion picture, having lost both hands in World War II. He won his Oscar for The Best Years of Our Lives in 1946. And I did see a picture of him, and he has like the hook hands, kind of like with the little claspers. I guess I'm going to assume that this was for medical needs, maybe, or maybe he just was like, I'm not working as much anymore. And it's just this statue sitting, and it made me think, because we talk sometimes about what we value, and sometimes you get caught up chasing awards or chasing these accolades. But like, I can't imagine, like we know somebody who has an Emmy, and I would think it's a pretty prized possession. Is there, like, would you sell your awards? Like, you've won some awards. I'm going to offer you right now. I want to know, what's the bid that I need? I want your silver medal that you won for the, you're like, I'll give it to you right now.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, you just make an offer.
John's like, my truck broke down. I need help.
My truck has broke down. Broken down.
Broke down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have many awards, so I won a comedy contest. I still have that trophy. It's the only trophy I've ever won.
Wow.
And it was for a comedy contest in 2010, which I was pretty new into comedy, but I won this little comedy competition, and I still have that trophy. And then I have an award for, it's called the Bronze Crown Award. That's third place. And it was for my comedy special live at the Franklin Theater.
Hey. And
I was against some pretty good competition that year, but it was, so I still have that. It's a certificate. It's not an award, I would say, but it's framed, but I don't think it's even hanging up in my house. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The award thing is, it's interesting. I know you're going to laugh at me. I really felt like that. I felt like a divine sort of nudge when I was writing Indoorsman I didn't even really look at book awards back then. And it was like, you should look at book awards. And so I did. There was a company you could hire that would submit to a bunch of book awards.
So they go for your consideration.
Yeah, and so they did. You have to pay all the entry fees.
Well, that's what all these people that do. Even people that get Oscars, they have to do it too. They have to go through that process. You have to say
they're
for
not
your.
Come to
they send you right.
And I won several awards, and and I was like, that's interesting, but I don't think it. And so it helped that book actually. Yeah. Usually it doesn't always help, but at the same time, no, it's just a Johnny. It's just a thing, It
is. Come on. And
guys, bring me your Emmy.
If you would like to make an offer on John's awards, he will be putting those on eBay
gold
tomorrow.
Best book in humor
to help pay for his trucks, his fuel pump for his truck.
Yeah, please.
John, Smokey Bear debuted this week, 1944. I always thought it was Smokey the Bear.
I did too.
Smokey Bear. It's interesting how these ad campaigns kind of evolve. Because, you hear the first versions of them, you're like, that's just, how did that ever even take off? Listen to this. Because of this, August 9th is used as Smokey Bear's birthday. So this week, the poster used the slogan, quote, "Care will prevent 9 out of 10 forest fires."
Okay.
Care.
Interesting.
And it's just 9 out of 10, so it's like, look, there's 10%.
There's going to be one of those is
just look, it was supposed to happen. Sorry about your forest. In 1950, a bear cub was rescued from a New Mexico wildfire and became the live embodiment of the cartoon Smokey Bear. The slogan eventually became,
"Only you can prevent forest fires."
It's actually only you can prevent wildfires. But I don't know why we think it's forest fires.
I always heard forest fires.
I think it's Mandela Effect. Only you can prevent wildfires. John, this week...
Turns out it wasn't only me.
No. A lot of people, I think it's Mandela Effect. I think a lot of people think it was only you can prevent forest fires. Maybe there was a version of it where people are in a more forested area, but... I'm
going to stand by what I remember as a child.
We need to do a whole episode on the Mandela Effect, by the way, because I think there's so many fascinating Mandela Effects, like where people are convinced that they've seen things that aren't... Like, people think it's the Bernstein Bears, it's the Bernstein Bears. People think that Shaq was in that there was a movie called Shazam that had Sinbad in it where he played a genie. There never was such a movie. They're conflating like two things. It's called the Mandela Effect because people think Mandela died in prison, but he actually lived.
Became the president.
So it's called the Mandela Effect, that like Mandela was a political prisoner and he died in prison. So that's why it's named for that. But there's a million of these little things, and it's almost like this weird, and it still goes on even though the internet, we have all the information at our fingertips.
Out of all that, Shazam is what's messing me up right now.
You think there was a Shazam with Sinbad? No, it's not a real thing.
What was it called? Sinbad did play something.
Sinbad's been in many movies. He was never a genie in a movie.
Which would be interesting because
there was a movie called Kazam with Shaq. That's why I thought Shaq when I first got into it. But yeah, somehow they conflated that with Sinbad, and he was a genie. And yeah, anyway. Wow. John, this week, 1966, the U.S. Treasury Department discontinued printing the $2 bill due to lack of demand. It would be reintroduced in 1976, just 10 years later. This is another kind of little Mandela moment because many people think $2 bills are rare, but in reality, there are millions still in circulation, and they continue to be printed. There was only a 10-year period that they weren't printed.
What?
That's 66 to 76 when they thought, well, they're not taking off, so let's stop printing them. But most $2 bills are only worth their face value. Certain ones can fetch thousands of dollars. There's some serial numbers or some special ones. Mm-hmm. But you can literally go to your bank right now and say, can you give me $100 in $2 bills? I want them for birthday cards or whatever. I want them just for the novelty of them. And they're real money, and they still are printing them. But people think they're rare.
Yeah. I always thought they're rare as a kid.
Yeah.
You know who's on the $2 bill?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
There's no way to know. Old picture of Thomas Jefferson.
Ask your thing as if I...
Yeah.
That would be good to know.
Let's see if it's...
the $2 bill.
Who's on the
Now, if you get a $3 bill...
That
could be...
Thomas Jefferson.
Super rare. Good look at you, buddy.
Man, look at that.
You should do a history book.
This guy.
John, the first IBM computer... The first IBM personal computer debuted this week, 1981. I wanted you to guess what the price tag of this first personal computer was. Give me kind of a ballpark of what you think.
$2,500.
It was $1,565.
Okay.
But you're in the...
Yeah, I knew it was expensive.
And that's pretty interesting.
For them,
it's...
Well, it's supply and demand, right.
It would mean very few households could have, in 1981 dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I didn't have a computer till my 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. I was homeschooled my last 2 years of high school, went to a private Christian school for part of the time. We didn't have like a computer lab. I think when I had typing class in 9th grade, it was on like an electric typewriter. It wasn't even on a keyboard, like a computer. No. So like, I graduated in 92. And again, my last 2 years were homeschooled. We didn't have laptop computer. We didn't have desktop computers in our house. So I did not get a computer until my 20s.
Wow.
And it was like one of those gigantic Dell. Dude, you're getting a Dell. Remember that big campaign?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll plunk. Then it was probably $1,000.
Our first one as a married couple was a Gateway.
Oh, yeah. The Gateway was the cow. The big cow. That campaign was wild. The spotted box that looked like a cow. I don't know what the point of that was.
I don't know.
Why are they saying...
The cow is the gateway to the soul?
Our computers are super slow. And I don't know.
It's just branding.
I guess. John, finally, this week, 1984, we've talked about Reagan before, but he was kind of like such an interesting character. A statesman, had like a boldness to him, comfort behind the camera because he was an actor. And so he kind of formed politics in a way. But in 1984, he jokingly announced, "My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that I've signed legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes." Reagan made the joke in a he made the joke to radio technicians during a sound check while preparing to give his weekly Saturday radio address on National Public Radio. After hearing about the comment, the Soviet Far East Army was placed on alert, and they stayed on alert for 30 minutes. So somehow he's doing a sound check and says this off-the-cuff thing just to be funny. And somehow it got out. So maybe that shows that there was probably moles or some kind of leak.
Yeah.
And they stayed on alert for 30 minutes until they were like, okay, Reagan's just being silly.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love stuff like that, though, that you go, even like you hear these things 20 years later, once things become more declassified, like the Cuban Missile Crisis, Russia eventually stood down because they thought we were about to bomb them, because Kennedy announced a speech that was going to television. And all he was really going to do was play a speech that he had played before, which said, here's some directives and don't do this. But he thought they're declaring war. And so because they thought Kennedy was calling their bluff, they stood down, and they didn't know for a decade or more that he never was going to declare war. Yeah. And they had already kind of folded.
Reminds me of another historical thing. It was on The Office whenever they get bought by Sabre.
Yeah, we can all draw those like corollaries.
And like they have this no cap on commission, so the sales team kind of goes to their head, Yeah. And so the other people are mad, and so they're going to give them some of their sales commission, and they also put all these like brownies and stuff on the table. They're going to give them 2%.
Oh, yeah,
they walk in, they're like, "Guys, we're sorry. This is just a gesture." And and before they get finished, Oscar's like, "This is big of you guys. This is big of you guys." And someone walks in, there's like, who doesn't know?
Yeah.
Like, "Oh yeah, it's just this table of treats. That's all we're giving you." And someone walks in and she's like, "What about the 2% milk?" And they cut them off, for this, So yeah, anyway, it's just like that, guys.
Well, there's an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer gets Jackie Childs to represent him he's going to get an offer because he burned himself with their coffee.
Yeah.
And they go in, they meet. He set up this meeting. They're going to get millions. And then the guy goes, "We're prepared to offer unlimited lattes at any of our locations." And he goes, "So," he shakes the guy's hand, and then the whole ride home, they're like, "Well, I want to know what was after that and. Why you shake his hand? Who told you to take a deal?" It was the whole thing about Kramer just took the deal, so now he's got unlimited lattes. Yeah. That's all he gets. Come on, man. I heard it. Listen, I heard a story. We'll finish with this, but I heard a story. And a friend of mine that is an actor, commercial actor, and does like bit parts in some movies, he swears this is true. He goes, a friend of his who also is an actor was up for the Verizon guy. So talk about "Can you hear me now?" It was like a gigantic thing in the early 2000s, right? I mean, for 10 years, those commercials ran. "Can you hear me now?" It was the little guy with glasses. And so he goes in. I'm trying to think if it was Verizon originally, because then he switched carriers. He kind of like famously switched.
T-Mobile, I think, is where he went.
Yeah, he went T-Mobile, but he was Verizon originally. "Can you hear me now?" That was their big slogan. And so it was between him and again, they were choosing an unknown character actor. Mm-hmm. And they go in, and it was down to between him and this other guy. And the guy that got it, he goes in and he says, "Well, they had the contract on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
We've chosen you. And he goes, well, just so you know, my client is not taking anything under $500,000. And they go, okay, we'll redraft it. The contract was for $1 million. Wow. That's what I've heard. I've heard that from more than one person. Wow. That basically they shot themselves in the foot by going and thinking they were highballing and they were really lowballing. So like, dude, you better watch yourself.
Come on, guys.
Next time you go in for that audition, John.
I know. It happens all the time. Hey, it's been a good show.
I think so.
Been a good time.
We've learned.
We did.
We've become Trappist monks.
Yes, we contemplated.
A little bit. No, now we need to go do some labor on your truck.
I do. I'm going to have to get my truck out.
John, how would someone become a co-laborer with us by joining and becoming a subscriber to the podcast?
Well, you go to talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
Click on the upper right-hand link if you want that ad-free content. And you can click on that lower right-hand link. You'll see an email where you can construct an email or just send an email to hello@talkaboutthatpodcast.com. We love hearing from you. And just thanks for listening.
Yeah. I don't think I promoted this when it came out, but I worked on a book with my good friends, Ann and Dave Wilson. They're the hosts of Family Life Today Radio. And this is our third book working together. My name's on the cover. It's a book.
That's pretty good.
It's a book for women, but it is on the title page there. But anyway, it's called How to Speak Life to Your Husband When All You Want to Do Is Yell at Him. Yeah. Ann's terrific. This is a book by Ann, and Dave has reflections in it. They're just amazing people. So, yes, you check it out on Amazon if you're interested. It's got a lot of humor and a lot of fun stuff in it, but it's good stuff for your marriage.
Ann and Dave Wilson with John Driver.
Yeah, go to that title page.
It's there.
Well, the deal was...
You got to write it in.
So it says with reflections from Dave Wilson, and I actually told the publisher, I was like, guys, there's no way we can do a book by a woman, 2 women, and then put 2 dudes on the front of it.
Oh, yeah,
it looks like
brutal.
We're just mansplaining.
Yeah.
Actually, my original was with non-mansplaining reflections from Dave Wilson.
It feels like you mansplain to them why they shouldn't do it. You're like, let me tell you why this is a bad idea.
Guys, I'm going to tell you I'm with my own...
Don't you worry your pretty little head about this.
My own major publishing company. You guys should check out JonnieW.com, JonnieW.com. The man's everywhere. Go see him. It's a fun show, and you won't regret it.
Yeah, big tour dates dropping all the time. We just added some more this week, and big news coming about a potential tour for 2026. So I'll keep that under wraps for now. But more tour dates coming out every day. We're probably coming to your town, or at least nearby. Come on, make a road trip. If it's not totally right in your driveway, still get in the car and drive.
Why are you refusing to do it? Like, you can drive 30 minutes.
Are you a bad person if you don't come to my show?
Maybe.
Kind of.
I mean, who can say?
Yeah.
I would not take a chance.
You don't take a chance.
Yeah, go to the show.
All right.
Hey, guys, thanks for the time you spent with us today. It was a lot of fun. Let's do it again next week here on
Talk About That.